This conference will now
Hello students, I'm Dr. Divya from TeenEinstein. So here we are moving to our new chapter, our environment. This is 13th chapter and we are starting our first part today. So here in this chapter, we are learning about ecosystem. What is ecosystem? Then how are activities that is affecting the environment. Then natural resources and their management. About all this we are going to learn in this chapter. So ecosystem, see, about ecosystem we'll learn. Then our activities, our day-to-day activities or day-to-day life, how it is affecting, and the activities in our life, how it is affecting the environment in a negative and positive way. Then natural resources and their management. So these are the main topics we are going to cover in this chapter. So first let's see, like, see, in news or newspapers and all, we used to hear about this word environment, right? Or people around us, they will talk about environment. And normally we used to say that nowadays conditions have changed or the environment has totally changed. Earlier it was not like this. Our elders, like our previous generation, those people were living in a healthy environment. Now everything has changed a lot. So what is the reason for that and how it is changing? And nowadays we are thinking like we should also work or we should also live in an healthy environment, right? Then usual discussions that is also going on about these environmental issues. See, in your textbook itself there is a chapter about this, right? But after reading this also, you people have any plan to change this? Don't know. Environmental issues will be there. So after reading, after learning this sentence by sentence, at least you people should change that. Your attitude should get changed. Like there are some issues which is affecting our healthy environment, and what should we do? From your side, see, one child is doing, they are initiating this. Like we won't throw this waste material or pollutions, which are the reasons for that pollutions that we won't do. From our side, our end, what we can do, that much we will do. Like that one student is doing means in your class maybe 30 or 40 students will be there. From one class you can do a lot, right? Waste management in school itself, like we will food waste will be there, plastic waste will be there, your pencil, eraser, all those things you are taking to your school, pen, pencil, eraser, then tissue, all these things. So think about those things, management of those things. If you are managing that in a proper way, definitely there will be a change. One school can do 1% means think about 10 schools, they can do a lot. So like that, our attitude we should change towards the environment. Now we are doing one chocolate or biscuit packet, we are throwing it. Okay, let it go here. That is the way we people are thinking, right? But we should think like that 10 people, if one waste is there, people will think, okay, I can also throw here. So in that way, people will think. So one person is changing means out of 100, that one person can change the mentality of another 2 or 3 people, right? They can change their mentality. Like that, we should change not only the discussion, it should not end there in discussion. After discussion also we should think about that. Okay, so here in this chapter we shall be studying how various components in the environment interact with each other and what is the impact of that components and their interaction. Then what is the impact? Okay, so that's what I said, components of environment and their interaction and how or what is the impact of all those things. Okay, so first let's see ecosystem and what are the components of ecosystem. See, you know that all the organisms like plants, animals, then microorganism, human, so all these organisms or human beings, all these, then the surroundings, all these are interacting with each other, right? Animals and plants, microorganism, human, and the surroundings of all these, they're interacting with each other. Okay, and see these, they have a interaction, right? And not only that, they are maintaining a balance interaction, and that interaction in a maintaining a balance also, right? So that balance is in the nature. So in nature, it is keeping in a balanced way. So all the interacting organism in an area, so many organisms are there, right? These organisms which are present in an area, together they will be having an interaction, right? We said all the organisms which are present in a particular area, they will be having interaction with each other, right? Not only with each other, these organisms in an area together with the non-living constituents of that environment. Okay, so this organism will be having interaction, and their non-living constituents also will be there. Okay, so this organism with each other and the interaction with the non-living constituents, these together perform the or that makes the ecosystem. Okay, so what is ecosystem? How we can define ecosystem? Ecosystem means all the interacting organism in an area together with the non-living constituents of the environment, that forms the ecosystem. Living organism plus non-living constituents. Okay, living organism along with the non-living constituents and their interaction. That makes the ecosystem. Okay, so an ecosystem consists of biotic components. Biotic components means the living organism, and the abiotic components. Okay, okay, so what we will write here? Ecosystem. This ecosystem that consists of biotic components. Biotic components and abiotic components. Okay, biotic components and abiotic components. So ecosystem consists of biotic components. Biotic components, what is that? Biotic means living organism, right? Living organism, that is the biotic components. Then abiotic components, which is the physical factors like temperature, physical factors. Physical factors in the sense wind, soil, temperature, then rainfall, minerals, all these things. So biotic ecosystem consists of biotic components as well as abiotic components. Okay, this ecosystem, biotic components and abiotic components are there. So these together forms the ecosystem. So biotic components, what do you mean by biotic components? Living organism. Then abiotic components. Abiotic components means physical factors. Physical factors, which are all the physical factors around us? Wind, temperature, minerals, rainfall, soil, all these are the physical factors, right? See, here, just with a simple example, I can explain this. Okay, so we are sitting in a garden. In a garden, these are all the common things in your day-to-day life. See, if you're sitting in your garden, what and all you can see around you? You can see plants, right? Plants means which and all plants are there? Trees, trees will be there, grasses will be there. Then some flowering plants, which are the like rose will be there, hibiscus, sunflower, so all those things. Okay, so all these are belonging to plants. Then another like animals like frogs will be there. Frogs are there. Then insects are there. Then birds will be there, right? See, in grasshopper will be there. So such small insects will be there. Then frogs to eat that, frogs will be there, right? Birds will be there. Even you can see the dragonfly, all those things. Butterflies will be there. That's what belonging to insects. Okay, so butterflies, such things will be there, right? These are all you are seeing daily around you. It will be there, right? So here, all the living organisms interact with each other, right? Here you can see these are the plants also living, animals also, these are living. So all these living organisms are interacting with each other. Interacting with each other. Actually, this chapter, everybody knows. No need of an explanation. Still, you need a definition for ecosystem. You need to define what is ecosystem. See, we can generally talk about these topics, right? But for exam point of view, you need to define everything and you need to write proper examples for each definition. Then with the example, you need to explain all those things. So that's why each and every point I'm explaining and definition I'm giving with example. So interaction, the interaction in the environment that you can see. With a simple example, we can explain garden. That's a common thing, right? Garden, in that plants will be there, and along with plants, you can see animals like small animals like frogs, insects, birds, and all. And you know that these plants and animals which are there in a garden, they are interacting with each other, right? How trees, grass, flowering plants, trees are there. On that, birds will be there. Birds will be living there, right? Then frogs, grass is there means grasshopper or such small insects will be there. To eat such small insects, frogs will be there, right? And these insects like some insects, they're helping for this flowering plant, their pollination, right? So all these are connected. So birds, some birds will eat this insect, small birds and all will eat this insects, and butterflies will be there. So these butterflies and such insects, they are helping for the pollination of flowering plants. So all these are this interaction. This interaction is there. It's already there, and they're helping each other, right? This flowering plants, their pollination with the help of insects, it is taking place, right? Pollination with the help of insects. And even some other plants like trees and all, fruit bearing trees and all will be there. So such things with the help of birds, pollination is taking place, right? So all these are helping each other and they are maintaining a balance, right? So all these living organisms, they interact with each other in their growing period, right? In their growth and their reproduction and their activities, all these are affected by the abiotic components of the ecosystem, right? So here we can consider this garden as an ecosystem. Okay, this garden as an ecosystem, and other types of ecosystem also we can see here. If you're considering a forest, this is a common example which everyone can explain. Okay, if you're considering a forest, there wild animals, big animals will be there, right? There also big trees will be there, grass will be there, small insects will be there, frog will be there, birds will be there, different types of birds will be there, and different types of flowering plants will be there. So everything. This is a simple example, and if you're considering a forest, that is other type of ecosystem like pond, lake, all these are examples for ecosystem. Okay, so garden, then another example, garden, forest, pond, lake, all these are considered as the examples for what? Ecosystem. See, in this itself, you can see two types of ecosystem, right? Two types of ecosystems are there. Which are the two types of ecosystem? This from this example itself we can make out. Okay, one is natural ecosystem. Okay, here then artificial or man-made ecosystem. For natural ecosystem, which and all the example, forest, that is natural one, right? Pond, then lake, all these are natural ecosystem. In the same time, here artificial or man-made ecosystem, that is garden. Garden is man-made, right? Man-made. Garden is a man-made. Then crop field, crop fields. These are also man-made ecosystem, right? So depending upon a particular crop, there will be some insects which is helping for pollination. Birds will be there which is eating this insect. So like that, there will be change, right? So here two types of ecosystems are there, which are the natural ecosystem and artificial or man-made ecosystem. Natural ecosystem, which are the examples, forest, pond, lake, all these are natural, which you can see naturally. Naturally, it is present. Artificial or man-made ecosystem, it is made by human. So garden is a man-made ecosystem or artificial ecosystem. Crop fields, that is what a man-made or artificial ecosystem. Then another one, aquarium. Aquarium, that is also man-made, right? But here you can see a pond, a small pond, that is a natural ecosystem. The same situations we can keep here also in the aquarium, right? But it is a man-made or artificial ecosystem, right? Okay, then we need to say that here, this living organism, how they are living? They are living in an environment, right? So environment means our surroundings. Our surroundings, that is called as environment. So living organism, all the living organism, they are living in a different surroundings. See, all living organism, all the living organism, they are in different surroundings, right? Right. See, we can see some plants and animals, they are living in water. Some plants or animals, they are living in water, or we can call it as aquatic plants or aquatic. So they are in an aquatic environment, right? And here some plants and animals, they are living on land, right? So aquatic, or they which are living on water, which are living in water or aquatic environment. So like that, some categories are there. Then terrestrial, which are living on land. On land, plants will be there, animals will be there. They are called as terrestrial plants or terrestrial animals. Then aquatic plants, which are living in water. Okay, so that shows the change in that environmental conditions. So living organisms, they live in different surroundings. Some plants and animals, they are completely living in water. They are called as aquatic plants or aquatic animals. So those environment, that is called as aquatic environment. Then some others, like some plants and animals, they are living on land. They are called as terrestrial plants or terrestrial animals. Okay, so man, here human beings, they are also leading a life in different surroundings, right? See, we can think about us only. We are, some people are living in cities, some in towns, some in villages. So like that, different conditions are there, right? So in the same way, plants, animals, human beings, all these are surviving. How these organisms or the plants or animals or human beings, all these are surviving in So how they will survive? They are interacting between, there is an interaction between each other, right? So the non-living things like air, water, land, with the non-living things and living, there is an interaction between the living organisms, and all these living organisms have an interaction with the non-living surroundings. Okay, so human beings, interaction in between as well as with surroundings, right? Then human beings, they are depending upon the resources of nature. So natural resources. So humans, especially humans, they are depending upon the natural resources. So these resources, which are the natural resources? Water, soil, then air, land. So all these natural resources human beings are utilizing, right? Oil, then gas, all these are human beings are utilizing. So these resources improving, all these resources are improving the lifestyle of human being, right? So all these usage of this natural resources improving the lifestyle, that is improving the lifestyle of human being, right? Here the environmental science, environmental science, what is that? Environmental science, the science which is helping for the study of organism in relation to their surroundings. Study of organism in relation to their surrounding. That is called as environmental science. And we know that this human activities or their day-to-day life, from that they are generating waste, generation of waste, or waste materials are getting produced. So all these waste materials, they are pollutants. Okay, so these are creating pollution. So all the waste materials, they are pollutants and they are creating pollution in one or the other way. Okay, so air, land and water, the surroundings, all these are getting affected due to the improper disposal of waste. Okay, the improper waste disposal, that creates imbalance in the environment. Imbalance in environment. So all these activities are affecting the environmental balance. So it is affecting air, or it is creating pollution to water, air, land, or the surroundings, everything. See, if we are daily this garbage, those things, if you are throwing everywhere, what will happen? It will get polluted, right? See, in our, think about the village area or the town or the city where we are living. Suppose we are getting vegetables, everything is packed, well packed, and all those covers, if you are throwing wherever we want, if we are throwing those to our surroundings, we are not disposing in a good way or in a proper method, what will happen? The surroundings which that will get polluted. If you are living in a village area, the plastic things and all we are throwing into a pond or a lake, waste disposal is happening there. If all the people, in that area, they are disposing that waste in that lake, near to that lake or pond, what will happen? That will get polluted. And not only that, that pollution is affecting the organisms which are living in that pond, right? That aquatic organisms are getting affected because of that. And finally, in a direct way or in indirect way, that waste is creating problem to that environment. So finally, it is affecting whom? The same people are getting affected by that. Okay, up to that we won't think, just throwing and removing waste from our home, that's it. So we should not think about that minute. Okay, our vision should be long, like in next 10 years what will happen if you are throwing these garbage daily into that pond or lake or nearby surroundings, what will happen? It will dump there. Okay, it will not get decomposed. So what will, who is going to affect? We or our next generation, they will get that harmful effects, right? So in that way we should think. So human activities which are related to livelihood, that is generating waste. So all wastes are pollutants, and these waste, they are creating pollution. Okay, one or the other way it is creating pollution, and it is polluting the air, it is polluting the water, it is polluting surroundings, land. All these are getting affected due to the improper disposal of waste. Okay, and this waste disposal in an improper way, that is creating imbalance in the environment. Okay, so what is pollution? How we can tell, how we can define this pollution? Pollution means any undesirable change in the physical or biological or chemical characters of surroundings like air, water, land, and that is finally affecting the human life in an adverse condition, adverse way. That is called as pollution. Any undesirable change. Undesirable change. Okay, where the change in the physical, in the physical or chemical or biological characteristics of air, land, and water. Okay, so any undesirable change to that environment, that may be physical change, chemical change, or biological change, and finally it is affecting human life, affecting adversely the human life. That is called as pollution. Okay, and what is a pollutant? See, now we said about pollution. What is a pollutant? A substance which is released to the environment due to the natural or human activity, which is creating adverse effect to the environment. That is called as pollutant. What is pollutant? The substance which is creating pollution, or the substance which is getting released to the environment due to human activities or due to a natural or human activity, and which is adversely affecting the environment. That is called as pollutant. Okay, examples for pollutants, we can say sulfur dioxide, right? Then carbon monoxide, then mercury, lead, then plastic waste. All these we can say as pollutants, right? Here we can classify this waste. Classification of waste we can do. Classification of waste. How we can classify this waste? Waste, it's classified into two. biodegradable waste and non-biodegradable waste. Two types are there, waste. Biodegradable and second type is non-biodegradable waste. Okay, biodegradable waste and non-biodegradable waste. Okay, what is biodegradable waste? Biodegradable waste means the waste which can be broken down into the components, degradable, which is broken down into degradable form. Okay, so substances that are broken down by biological process of biological or microbial action. Okay, by biological action or microbial action, which are broken down by biological processes, they are called as biodegradable waste. For example, wood, with the help of biodegradable process, that means with the help of microorganism or any biological process, the substance which can be degraded, that is called as biodegradable process. With the help of biological process, the degradation is possible, means they are called as biodegradable waste. Example, wood, it is biodegradable. Okay, then food waste and all, that is with the help of microorganisms, that is also degradable. Okay, so that is called as biodegradable. Then paper, that is also biodegradable. Then leather, that is also biodegradable. Okay, non-biodegradable waste means the substances which are not degradable with biological process or microbial action, that is called as non-biodegradable waste. Okay, non-biodegradable, the substances which are not degradable by biological process or by microbial action, such wastes are called as non-biodegradable waste. For example, non-biodegradable plastic substances, they are non-biodegradable. With biological process, we cannot degrade plastic, right? Then with microbial action also, we cannot degrade plastic, isn't it? That's why they are called as non-biodegradable waste. That's why we are saying that don't throw plastic into our surroundings. Okay, that processing of plastic, that is a separate action. That's why nowadays they are collecting plastic separately, and with that they're taking into some places and making them to another form, right? So don't throw plastic into your surroundings because it will never get degraded with the soil. If you're throwing that to soil, for years it will be there only. It will not degrade, and not only that, that will inhibit the growth of microorganism, growth of these plants. That will affect everything. That's why plastic, which is a non-biodegradable waste, it is very harmful. Okay, so that is affecting slowly, it is affecting everything. So if plastic waste is more in soil, what will happen? Think about if it's raining. That raining time, usually what is happening? Water is going inside the soil, right? So if plastic wastes are more, water will not go inside, right? Somewhere it is blocking that way. And growth, if plastic wastes are more in your soil, definitely plants won't grow, because plants, that root should go inside the soil, then only it can absorb water and minerals. See, think there is a plastic sheet down, you don't know on that soil is there, So you have seen only that soil and you have planted something there. Under that, just 5 or 6 inches under that, there is a plastic sheet. How that plant will grow? It won't be a healthy plant because it's not able to absorb the nutrients, or it's not able to suck the water from that. Water can't move or it can't enter inside the root. So many effects are there. So hereafter, just think before doing all these things. So substances that are broken down by biological process or microbial action, they are called as biodegradable waste. Which is the example? Wood, paper, leather, all these are biodegradable waste. And non-biodegradable waste means the waste which cannot be degradable by biological action or microbial action. Such wastes are called as non-biodegradable waste. Okay. Plastic substances, they are non-biodegradable waste. Okay. See, here you will get a question like, why? One or two questions. Here the main things, what is environment? Then different types of environment. Then what is pollution? What is pollutant? Classification of waste, biodegradable waste and non-biodegradable waste with example. Okay. Then what is ecosystem? One example, with a simple example, you need to explain what is ecosystem. First you need to define, then with the example you need to tell. Then another two questions you will get from here. Why are some substances biodegradable and some non-biodegradable? Okay, here you can see some substances like metal, then plastic, glass, all these things are non-biodegradable. Non-biodegradable. Okay, so these substances, this cannot be decomposed. Cannot be decomposed. This cannot be decomposed by the living organisms. Living organism, or there is no microbial action. No microbial action is possible on this. So microbes also can't do anything on this thing, on this material like metal, glass, plastic and all. So these substances are non-biodegradable because the microorganisms do not have any enzyme. Do not have enzyme which can degrade the biological waste. Which can degrade biological waste. Okay, so the microorganisms do not have any enzyme which is able to degrade this metal, plastic or glass. Okay, so that's why we are classifying them as non-biodegradable waste. There is no biological process, even microorganism or no enzyme is there to degrade such materials. That's why we are calling as non-biodegradable waste. So other substances like paper, vegetable waste and leather, all those things that can be easily broken down by enzymes. That's why they are called as biodegradable waste. So till now there is no enzyme or no microbe is there to decompose or to digest or to degrade this plastic waste or metal waste or glass. Okay, that's why they are called as non-biodegradable. If you are throwing a glass piece, it will be there for years, right? Plastic also will be there, metal piece also will be there. On metal you can see rust, but it is not a degradable one, right? So that's how we are classifying. That's the reason. There is no biological process to degrade such materials. So any two ways in which biodegradable substances would affect the environment. Biodegradable. Okay, non-biodegradable, that we cannot decompose. So it's not returning anything back to the environment. What about biodegradable, like vegetable waste or normal waste? So biodegradable substance means their biological actions are possible, or microorganisms are there to decompose that material. So what will happen? So these substances which are degradable by microbial action or biological process, right? Through any biological process or through any microbial action, it's able to degrade, or they are degradable forms. But what will happen after degrading? These degraded forms that can give back some nutrients to the environment. It is giving back the nutrients, right? It is in one or the other way, it is returning that nutrients. See, this vegetable waste and all, if you are putting that for the plants, that will give nutrients for flowering plants, or in our garden we can put those, like eggshells and all. If you are giving that for garden plants in your pot, if you are giving, and the vegetable waste, we can make vermicompost. So that is one or the other way, it is returning back some nutrients, right? Then, and the degradation of this material, that may release some gas in the atmosphere, right? So that gas, this decomposition, here it's giving a nutrient, that is a plus point. But while degrading, this gas which is getting released from these, that may pollute. There is a chance of pollution. Okay, so these are the two sides. One side it is giving nutrient, at the same time in another way it is creating pollution also, slight pollution, because while decomposing this material, that is releasing some kind of gas. Okay, so if that is more, that will create pollution. So there is a chance of pollution also. Okay, so these are the points as an introductory part of ecosystem we need to learn. So from here you are getting many 1 mark question like pollutants, what is pollution, and examples for pollution. There is biodegradable waste, non-biodegradable waste. Then with example you need to learn biodegradable and non-biodegradable, and why they are calling us biodegradable, why they are calling us non-biodegradable, and what is the plus and minus of these. Okay, so this is just like an introductory portion of this ecosystem, this chapter, ecosystem or our environment. So in the next class, we'll be learning about abiotic components and biotic components. Then what is the balance in an ecosystem? What is food chain? What is food web? That and all we'll be discussing in the next class. Okay. Thank you.